We have come far since we first participated in the 1988 Summer Paralympics. We did not win medals then, but we continued to send our athletes to the Summer Paralympics. 20 years later, at the 2008 Summer Paralympics, we sent 6 athletes and they brought home 4 medals. 28 years on from our first participation, we now have 9 Paralympic medals. But it has been a long road. Over the years, we have come to recognize the value of sport in achieving our national priorities, in developing healthy and resilient people, forging strong, united communities, retaining core values, sharing memories, strengthening friendships, and building a dynamic society, a dynamic economy. We didn't do enough for our athletes and para-athletes in our earlier years. It is my hope that with Vision 2030, with the Disability Sports Master Plan, with the new National Outdoor Adventure Education Master Plan, sports will become more inclusive. And as we continue to conceptualize and implement, it must always be a work in progress. We should be open to learn from other countries, such as the UK and Canada, known to provide good support for the athletes with disabilities. It has taken us a long time to associate sports and disability, or should I say, sports and medical conditions. The Singapore Disability Sports Council was set up in 1973 by the then Ministry of Social Affairs, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health, and 8 organizations for persons with disabilities. In 1974, due to a shortage of funds, it selected only 2 para-athletes, Messrs. Robert Tan and Frankie Tanapal, to represent Singapore at the Commonwealth Paraplegic Games in Dunedin, New Zealand. Frankie returned with a bronze medal, and Robert did us proud in his placings. In 1975, the duo represented Singapore again, and this time, they won gold and bronze medals. Why am I sharing this? We didn't just start winning sports medals on the international scene. Through the years, our para-athletes have been doing us proud. It's just that we didn't know that much about them. And we are slowly gaining national consciousness in this issue, thanks to everyone who persevered. All of our para-athletes, your loved ones, and your officials. And to the younger ones in this chamber today, our Paralympians, as you enjoy the recognition and the challenges that are ahead of you, remember all those who went before you, who gave of their best despite having a lot less. Remember that they paved the way for you as well. And as you remember those who went before you, we will also remember the lessons that we have learned from you. You have brought us glory. You put us in the international limelight in the world of Paralympics. Tiny Singapore. Your achievements made us sit up and realize that persons with disabilities, even from tiny Singapore, can make their mark in the sports world. By your medal wins, you gave Singaporeans a chance to be inspired. Inspired by your grit to endure physical pain, by your intelligence, your determination to push the limits to succeed. But even then, for all the interviews that you give, for all the inspirational talks that you give, we can never imagine all the pain, the tears, the frustrations, and the sacrifices that you had to make. We can never imagine the pain of the injuries, what sacrifices you made in your education, your career, your social activities, what sacrifices your parents made for you, what financial burdens you had to bear, and what opportunities you lost. You have inspired us, and you have made me very, very proud of you. Not just because you won medals, but because all of you trained and sacrificed. And even if you never got to the games, even if you competed but you didn't win, you never gave up. I'm proud of you because you are not afraid of your weak bodies. I'm inspired by you because you have strong minds and stout hearts. And I am humbled by the lessons that I learned from you. Teresa says of your disabilities, I'm fine with it. I wouldn't be swimming or where I am today if I weren't disabled. I believe you spoke not just for yourself, but for all your colleagues. Paralympians, you turned your disability into opportunity and made your disability your success. I believe that as we salute you for your medals, many more will salute you for rising above all your failures. Mohammed Diroy, he also happens to be SBD's Youth Aspiration Award 2015. He was initially not selected to represent Singapore at the Paralympics. But he did not despair. He continued and he stuck to his regime of training 3 times a week to keep improving, to do his best for other upcoming competitions. And then he landed the surprise. He became a last-minute addition to the Singapore contingent. Jovin Tan, parasailer, said this: life is always about trying and not giving up. Even if you are the last boat, you should try to think of possible ways to climb 1 or 2 more positions up, even if you are the last boat. Laurentia says, our glorious moments are not in never failing, but in rising every time we fall. Ultimately, it is not about giving up. It is about not giving up. It is about not allowing setbacks to set us back. And it is about doing our best, no matter what. Unfortunately, that's not glamorous, but that will outlast the shine on your medals. So let Singapore be there for you. When Paralympians won medals, the public debated greater rewards for medalists, greater support for para-athletes. You rose above monetary rewards and you said you didn't do it for the money. Indeed, I firmly believe that our athletes did not do it for the money. You didn't train and compete for that. But the prize money is important. Whether we like it or not, it is a reflection of how society values the contributions that you have made and the lessons that you are sharing with us. Aside from the reward on a very practical basis, the prize money will help our para-athletes pay for transport, living expenses, the higher medical expenses, higher therapy fees, higher coaching fees, pay for your studies, pay for your other needs. More than cash payment, it is also about inclusion. In my letter to Straits Times on 17 September 2008, I argued and I reiterate now that if we persist in having 2 different standards of treatment between athletes and para-athletes, we reinforce the erroneous perception that people with disabilities are not able, and we strengthen the barriers against building an inclusive society. We cannot build a gracious, inclusive society if we continue to deny the achievements of those perceived to be different and less able than we. I am happy for the motion that has been placed before the House today. But there is more to be done than just congratulating our Paralympians. So what is my role, fellow Singaporeans? What is our role? The best of government schemes will not be good enough if we do not play our part to support our para-athletes. Yes, a great part of that has got to do with funds, more sponsorship. But how do we get sponsors if there are no spectators? Spectators draw advertisers, advertisers draw sponsors. Here is one opportunity for us to just be a spectator. By that, we cheer our athletes. We give them hope. We let them know that there are people behind them when times are tough. By that, we also tell the corporate entities that there is value in sponsoring our athletes. Get out of the living room. Get to the stadium, the swimming pools, wherever the events are held. Can we be, if nothing else, a spectator? It has been a long journey, and it will continue to be. And as Pin-Yu said to Teresa when the latter won her bronze medal at the Paralympics, nobody knows our journey like us, and I'm so incredibly proud of you. And now, I say this, and I'm sure my colleagues here in this house will join me in saying this. Indeed, nobody knows your journey like you. But you know what? We are so incredibly proud of you. And with that, Madam, I support the motion.